So we're just gonna get into this. We're gonna talk about the COVID thing first. So what is it? Yesterday? Yesterday was Thanksgiving. Yesterday, we went into Sprouts because it's the only thing open, and this man comes up to my mother and says that she needs to pull her mask up. She was talking to me on the other side of the store. He was very rude and aggressive. He was already moving from one side to the other, okay? Now, we're going to tell you how we feel about COVID. We want you to just follow it with us here, okay? Just follow it with us. Still believe what you want to believe, but I'm not saying that I don't believe that COVID itself, the sickness, is not real. Hey, guys, that's not what I'm saying. I believe that the sickness is very real, but it's the fact of common sense and make it make sense with the things that people are doing. But we're going to get into that. So anyways, he points his finger at me and I lose my shit. He kept saying, well, you're basically putting someone in danger. Funny, because you walked from one side of the produce aisle to the other to come get into our space, which is 6 feet apart, to tell us that you feel like we're putting you in harm's way. Okay? He's like, there's no other reason. Basically, there's no reason why you don't have your mask on. I said, yeah, there is a reason. No, that he don't want to hear that. There's no reason. Yes, there is a reason. Don't want to hear it. Well, I'm with the Americans Disability Act because of my PTSD. So if you're just in the mood to argue with somebody, then that's all you're going to do is argue with somebody. But he wasn't even at all wanting to listen. He just saw us 3 women, which, by the way, there was a big black dude standing not too far from us without a mask on. So once again, we come into this reverse racism issue, is what we dealt with in Walmart earlier. It had nothing to really do with COVID. It had something to do with reverse racism that we deal with all the time. All the time. Okay? So, back to this guy, I go off on him and I tell him, like, you know, there's more things, serious shit in the world, and I'm a trafficking survivor, and you're yelling at me because of a legal issue, but you have no idea, you haven't even tried to touch it. Well, Why? Why? Because I'm a trafficking survivor. If you must know that bad. The man literally went and started to walk away. I wasn't done yet, though, because once you poke me, I'm sorry, but if you really get me to that point, you are going to hear every single word that I got to say. It's going to come. Everything that is running through my head will have to come out of my mouth, and there is no ending that. There's no putting an end to that. So I cussed out basically the entire store on Thanksgiving because, I mean, there was not that much people in there. But everybody understood why this man approached us at this point, because he approached us to do this. Then when he gets hit with, after he asks why, he has no rebuttal and walks away. Well, let me tell you something, old man. This is the reason why we're in this situation. And I am very respectful to my elders, but I don't respect people who don't respect other people. Okay? So you get definitely messing with this one or my grandmother, you will get the bear in me. Okay? All right? And I'm going to rip you apart with my bare hands. But he backed up. But after that, you already messed with me. So then, therefore, I was standing at the front door of the place. Just imagine a store. The Sprouts store. I was standing at the front door, and he was over in produce, and I was still going. Okay? Because he was still in my clear vision. And we still had to have this conversation. I told him, you know, there's children being trafficked. There's children being tortured, abused, and raped. And you're worried about a mask after the fact that I already told you that I can't wear a mask. You're not hearing the fact of what I'm trying to tell you. You're just listening with the intent to reply. Are you listening? No. So, I mean, the Americans Disability Act goes very far. So if you were in the military, ex-military, especially with combat, you know that in torture tactics back in Iraq, sometimes they use waterboarding, they use torture tactics, and that involves covering your face. So there's military people who have PTSD and have been through hell, and they can't wear the mask. It has nothing to do with I can't breathe. It has nothing to do with that. You try wearing something that reminds you of the time that you were tortured. That's the point. So that man got my wrath. The whole store. Everybody was like, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We left from there, and today at Walmart. We are waiting on our car to get checked up, and it's fine, but we were just waiting on our car, and it's cold, so I had went in and sat down, and I'm sitting on this plat for at least 30 minutes inside the store. This lady is messing with people, being very sarcastic, just getting with people, okay? And I'm listening to her, but she's not messing with me, so I'm minding my own business. I got enough on my plate, so I'm just sitting there on my phone, and 30 minutes go by. This woman was staring at me. She seen me, okay? I didn't have a mask on the entire time, right? Now my mother and my grandmother walks in the door, and I said, Mom. This woman automatically turns around and comes over to us. Where are you guys from? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Isn't there a quarantine over where you guys are? Why don't you mind your damn business? But instead, we were just like, yeah, did you hear the crazy rules that our governor tried to put out? The no chanting and singing with the turkey, no sitting 6 feet apart, sit outside, you can't pray, you can't sing, you can't have certain family members over. Did you hear the psycho crazy rules that you have to be on curfew at 10 o'clock? Yeah, there's crazy rules back in California. We're just talking to this lady. And at first she stood there. Just make it make sense. I just have an issue with common sense not being common. That's the only problem that I have issues with. This woman was standing there talking to us with her mask pulled down for like a good 10-15 minutes. When I told her, because she's like, well, you guys have to put your mask on. My mom's like, whatever, I don't care. I literally laughed and went back into my phone, minding my business. You're not going to get me. You're not going to say something to me. You just said you didn't say anything before. Okay? Just have some consistency and make it make sense. You just stood here for 15-20 minutes talking to us with your mask pulled down. So if you felt that you were in danger, then why'd you pull your mask down to come interfere into our bubble and to mess with us and talk to us? Okay? This woman continued to mess with us, and then after we had this entire conversation about, the military and all that, not even the military, just shooting the shit, she turns around and says, you guys have to put your mask on. You were just talking to us with your mask pulled down. I've been sitting here without a mask. Hell no, I ain't moving and I'm not putting my mask on. No, bite me. Okay? So then this woman starts to bark at my grandmother, because my grandma starts saying, that COVID has a 98% survival rate, we're just talking to her because she felt like she wanted to be educated. So we were just, shooting the shit, just talking, and she got a little too sarcastic for me. So I popped off and ended up cussing out the whole automotive section, because at this point, this was out of reverse racism. It wasn't just the COVID issue. When we told her about why I'm with the ADA, I'm sorry, and she's, I don't get it, I don't know what that is. Okay, cool, we'll educate you. I'm a trafficking survivor. I can't have shit on my face. I've been minding my own business in here for a while. This is that, and why. She, waited for a little bit. Then something clicked, and she wouldn't leave us alone. Okay? She said something to my grandma, she poked a bear in me, and I went off. Alright? You are poking at us. And I told you about trafficking children and survivors, and the reason of the ADA. You're now messing with the legal issue, because you're not legally able to ask anyone what their disability is or why, because that's against the law. We ended up having a really bad discussion. It's on my Facebook. You guys caught the last tail end of that. Okay? I was very upset, very hot. Some people tried to come outside. They almost got the smoke too. The whole automotive section was, they hurried up on our car, though. Our car was finished way faster. My point is, at the end of this whole conversation, is it doesn't make sense. Can we talk about the control? Because if I understand that COVID is an actual virus. However, if you had the flu, the cold, anything of the sort, I am a teacher. I know that I can speak to all teachers right here when I say this. Especially as an extracurricular activity teacher, I'm special. I work in special needs. I'm a cheer coach. I was a dance teacher. I was an after-school tutor. I'm telling you right now, working with extracurricular activities, there are people, parents, who will not send their children to a day of school before all this began and send them to an extracurricular activity after they were not at school, they had a fever, they're coughing, sneezing, loaded up on drugs, and they come right into class and hug their teacher and say, hey, I didn't go to school today. And I'm like, then why are you here? Like, like trying not to touch the kid, but the kid is sneezing in my face, and I'm a Sally. Like, hi, you didn't decide to stay home? No, I'm good. As long as I'm not going to pass out, my mom said, as long as I don't throw up on this floor, I'm fine. All right, cool. Don't throw up on the floor. That's how things used to go. That's how things used to go before everybody went COVID stir crazy and is not hearing anything about this shit. There was a consistent line, a consistent flow. And we're past that now. The restaurant thing. So are you going to tell me that COVID takes a time out when you go to take a bite in your food? Do you really feel like COVID is saying, oh my gosh, she got food in her mouth? So now that she entered the restaurant in a mask, they sat down in a mask, but in between bites, COVID is saying, you know what, I'm not going to touch you. I'm going to take a flag out because you got food in your mouth. So I'm going to be generous to you and not touch you because you're eating. Are you kidding? Does anybody not feel like we're on like Punk'd? Like, does anybody not feel like somebody's about to pop out and be like, Candy Kiara? Like, nobody? Because the rules that our governor has given us are insanity. The fuck you mean don't pray over the turkey? What do you mean no singing and chanting? What do you mean go sit outside in the tent when it's cold?
Well, you can't be out after 10
You
p.m.
can't. So, okay, and another thing, the curfew. So COVID is
good.
9:59 is great, but COVID is not safe. Tag, you in. That is not the safe zone at 10 o'clock at 10:01. But at 5:01, tag, you out. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to touch you because now you're at the safe zone. I can't touch you now because the curfew just hit. So COVID, you know what? And COVID is having this conversation. Listen, I won't touch you with some germs until 5:02.
It's either serious
or it's not. Have some fucking consistency. Once again,
think it out. You gotta think it out.
You gotta put shit 2 and 2 together. There's rules at a beach, okay? And it says this one took me out the game. This one right here was the kicker. This is the one that took me out the game. This one right here. There's a sign on the beach. Wear your mask. If you're swimming, you're fine. But when you go sit on the sand, COVID can get you. If you are swimming, you're fine. You know people pee in the beach water, right? Do you know what all is going on in the beach? But if you throw a ball or a frisbee towards someone else, that's not okay. That took me out the game. That one took me out right there. That one took me soul out. Like, oh, wait a minute. Then we go into a place to go get some sauce, right? And then this one, that was like we're going for it 3 times the charm today. I asked for some damn sauce. Just some sauce, y'all. And I almost lost my shit on somebody because he's like, we have a coin shortage.
COVID's a powerful little thing.
We have a coin shortage. Due to COVID, we have to charge you 25 cents for some barbecue sauce. I was just like, just take the $1. We are in a coin shortage. Did you hear yourself?
Give me 4.
That little COVID dirt is a powerful SOB.
So you're telling me that we're in a coin shortage, but you're gonna charge a coin for some sauce? Like, just make it make sense. Like, Oh,
right.
okay.
So my issue with it, I've heard that the masks are affecting your breathing, and you're rebreathing your germs, and I've heard that that things the COVID
people are
germ is so small it
people
can
are
pass
breathing
through.
too much of their own air. That's what it is.
So my issue is I've not heard is I have a nursing background and I've worked for surgeons, so I know the sterile technique. So you got your mask, you see my little germs on there, you got your mask on your face, and you just collected all these little COVID germs. What do? You take this and you put it in your purse, and then you go to the next store and you got germs on your hand, and you're touching everything.
You have to pull the
put
card
it
out
back,
to get the hand
put it back
sanitizer out.
on. You just it's
Everyone,
ridiculous.
and here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here's another one. Checking out. So everyone's touching the same pin pad.
But it's got plastic on it.
But it's got plastic on it.
But you're touching the same plastic.
But you're touching the same plastic.
If it's truly a death-defying pandemic, we would all be dead right now.
Do y'all know that we went down to the homeless in the middle of COVID? If you go down to Skid Row in the middle of the pandemic, the dead bodies are not more than usual. No. You would be tripping over them if that was the case. Think about it. How come your homeless people are not dropped like flies?
Yes, COVID is a thing. Yes, I know a lot of people and a lot of elderly people. I have family that are elderly that had COVID. They all recovered fine.
Okay, and then whoa. Can we talk about the contactless shit? Because this one takes me out the game too. Does anybody know what contactless means? Contactless means. It means that we don't come into contact. That means that the shit that's contacting with my hands right now does not come into your contact. So if you work in a restaurant, honey, you are not a frontline worker, baby boo. That does not exist. Okay, you are not essential, honey. You're not. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're not. Why? Because you had to touch the fucking bag. The tray that you have to push over to the drive-thru, you gotta touch it. Okay? The food that has been made, you have to wrap it. I don't give a shit if you have on a glove. That means that you contacted with someone's stuff, and you contacted with them to say, here you go.
All prepared foods in restaurants would have been closed if it was a true pandemic.
Is it just me?
It hurts.
Somebody help me.
For these masks to be functional and to even work at all, you have to use a new one every single time. You've got when you use it, you take it off, you throw it away, and you get a brand new one. And you got to wash your hands. Sterile technique.
Tag me up.
Put it in
All right, go. Okay, here's the thing.
Put it in that hazmat.
Oh shit, Mom, I just forgot it.
Hazmat.
Hazmat, that's what I want to say. If this was a virus, please go look up what hazmat looks like. If this was a true virus, you are coughing, sneezing. If you had COVID and you went out, all over this, right? Okay, you go outside, you drop this on the ground. Why the hell isn't hazmat coming to pick up all these germs? If we were in a pandemic, you should see 2319 Monsters Inc. yellow status coming out. Like, 2319! We got a 23! Like, you should see people burning these fucking things, but they're laying all over the street. There's gloves.
You have to use a new one every time you go into any store. Every time you take it off, you need to throw it away. Or it has to be washed. It's sterile technique.
So, come on. You have to.
Think it out.
People, come on. It's a clear day, just land. The problem is you're being controlled. People want to push you to see how far you're going to say, no, I'm not doing that.
And look how far. If you are from California, if you've been following the California rules, they are pushing us like insane.
Yeah.
I feel like we are on an episode of Punk'd. And people are just complying. I have family that's freaking complying. They irk my soul. Like,
you know what takes me out the game? You know what takes me out the game too? You know, just like me right out.
Get in the train.
Is the tent.
To the camp. Take the shower.
That's the tent. That's what takes me out the game. So, people are like, you got to do everything outside, right? So let me get something straight. Let me get something straight. You're paying money to go to a restaurant to sit outside in the parking lot next to the garbage can.
California, that's all
with
California.
a tent that has windows on it.
Yeah, they've been closed, the tents. They put
Did you
heaters
want
in the tent.
Did you want a total first-hand view of the garbage on your left, or did you want a side first-hand view of the damn cars on your right? What did?
We look like freaking morons.
Do you know how bad and people are laughing at you right now? Like, people are laughing at us. I know the aliens are sitting there like, fucking ghetto asses. That's why they got problems. That's why we don't go to Earth too much. Because these fuckers got issues. Like, are you not seeing?
Wake up, sheeple.
Bah!
Think it out. Think it out. Think it out.
And then you have people in the store that are like, oh my God, you're putting me in danger. Aren't you the person that would send your child to school hella sick, throwing up and having a fever because you just like, get out? No, unless you were throwing up or passed out on this floor, get the hell out, you're going to school. You're the same people who's in the store talking about everybody else is putting you in danger.
Then wear your mask. Your mask will protect you. You're in no danger.
I had to tell the man at Walmart, like I had to tell him, it was kind of loud. You guys, some of you seen the video, but I had to tell him, y'all have your plexiglass, your mask, you're 6 feet apart. If you know what, if China minded their damn business, this is what I've been screaming all damn day. If China minded their business like everybody else should mind their business, we wouldn't have been in this situation in the first fucking place.
Biden brought him over.
If China minded their business, this wouldn't be our business. You know what I'm saying? So
look deeper. Look deeper at the agendas. Look who's getting money from this. Look, you gotta look past what you're seeing in front of your face. Look way past those things.
you're told you have to wear one outside while you're walking your dogs. Wear one outside, but the sun is supposed to kill the virus. Sun is healthy for you. Sun.
I have a lot of doctor friends, and we got locked down March 13th. By March 19th, we already knew that there are things that you could do. We already knew that there were very inexpensive treatments. Since then, there's plenty of treatments. There's people. You just gotta look further. Like,
you know, the things that people are telling you to do, like the how much common sense this shit has is as much as trying to fill a laundry basket with water. Y'all understand that, right? Like, it's like, you know, the basket, the holes in the laundry basket, and you're saying go to a restaurant. This is a deadly virus, so if you pull that mask down and breathe on someone, then somebody can die. That's what everybody is saying. But you're going into a restaurant and you pull your mask down and take a sip of a drink, look around and pull it back up. Huh? Huh? Like, just make it make sense. There's no consistency. You know what I'm saying? So if it was a deadly virus, do you know what people wear to go into deadly virus situations in the hospital? Ask them how long it takes them to suit up just to get from one room to the other.
If it was truly a deadly virus,
Yo,
we
fabric
would all be
cloth
dead from the inconsistency.
Mask by Sally is not going to help you. It's that little piece of fabric. If you can smell my fart through your mask, you have just contacted COVID. That is how serious it is. I'm just going to be real with you. If a fart can creep through, then so can COVID. What the like? That's how serious it is. It's an airborne disease. Think for yourself, people. It's an airborne disease. Like, air. Anyways, let's move on. That's how we feel about COVID.
Yeah, immunity.
Sorry.
Now.
That's how we feel. Okay? I wasn't expressing my feelings because as a dance coach, nobody knew what side of the political fence I was on because I wasn't on one. And everybody was like, how do you feel? And I'm like, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. Just put the mask on if you have to, but I'm not doing it. So
you can control anybody with fear. With enough fear, you can control anybody.
You can't be in a group of 25, but your Hollywood is essential entertainment. California.
Yeah, we got none for California.
California. You're on curfew, but your essential entertainment is not.
California is.
How the hell we got essential entertainment? How many movies we got? If we're in a virus, shouldn't all them be in their house? When Christy and John went out through that whole thing and was sitting on top of their car, they didn't have a mask on. Aren't they the ones that preached to stay home? So why didn't they pop out of their car with a mask on automatically?
Think stuff out. Think it out.
Why? Because it's not that serious. It's not that serious. You're being lied to. If somebody was standing next to you, chewing and coughing up a storm, somebody's going to either be like, okay, you need to go home, or you need to make sure you stay about 10, 12 feet away from me.
If you're at
I'm
risk,
going to
take
throw
extra
you something.
precautions.
Like,
Otherwise, take the same precautions you do during flu season and cold season. If you don't want to get a cold, wash your hands more, take some vitamin C, like...
Shut up. Don't call away ambulance for nothing. That's the thing. That's pretty much...
There's a lot of agendas behind this.
Yeah.
A lot. And the least agenda is that it's actually...
And I've talked to
serious
many
as it's been
people
made
who
out to
have
be.
had COVID, and the people who are not extremely dramatic or have all told me it is no worse than pneumonia or the common flu. You feel extremely drained. It feels like the symptoms of the common flu, and it goes right away after you sleep that shit off. If you have other underlying issues,
That's the problem.
then that's your issue. That is where it can get you just as much as it would if you had underlying issues and you got pneumonia.
Just take normal precautions. Don't be a freak. Like, don't do too much.
You're doing way too much.
Don't
Don't go finding your next easy up for your next dinner, okay? Just because you had 8 people over and the rule was no less than 10, you do not need an easy up. You do not need an easy up, honey.
Easy up.
An enclosed easy up. You gotta bring the food from the fucking house. Do you understand that if COVID was in your house, you just brought it to the tent? Can we move on, please?
We gotta move on. It's gonna explode.
I can't stay on this
Jesus.
Twilight Zone
Get 'em.
shit for long. We in our own Twilight shit, okay? You're adding to the plate. Okay. All right. Someone asked me, like, because there was a thing that came up in regards to my real name. Yes, my real name. I'm adopted now. Y'all, I call myself exotic because my full name is like, brrr, like it's a whole announcement. Like sometimes I like call myself like it's exotic because if you knew my full name, it's like do. Like you like, what is she? Who's coming? You don't know if I'm Mexican, Hawaiian, white, black. You're not sure. It's a whole thing. I love it. So because of that, there was somebody that brought up my stuff before because I guess the military men were digging on me and was like, what's the big deal if somebody knows your real name? Well, let me tell you, because when people called me by my real name, it was usually them torturing, raping, or waiting. I was waiting for them to come. Does that make sense? So when somebody calls me by that name, when somebody says that name, I go back to there. People used to throw me around the room saying that name. So when, by the way, this live is going to be graphic, so any children are on here, I suggest you go get parents and permission now, but if you on here, because I told you to get off. Love you. Anyways, so I don't like to be called by that name.
If a teenage kid willingly changes their whole name completely, like nothing even close, there might be a reason. So don't make assumptions. Don't be an ass. Don't make assumptions.
There's a total reason.
Ask questions first. Don't just assume.
People
you
used
think
to
you
call
know
me all
everything.
kind of little nicknames and very really evil things attached to it. I don't know how many times I've been called a cum bucket. So I really don't like to hear that name. She's dead now. She died a long time ago. A very long time ago. She doesn't exist anymore. So that's the reason why I saw that name the other night and I was like, what the hell?
Well, plus it's tied to a lot of other people.
It was tied. It was somebody
A lot
was
of
trying
corrupt and
to.
evil people.
Somebody was trying to like threaten me or bother me because I told you guys, you know, we've been through a lot. So there's some things that we haven't touched yet because it could get dangerous because there's some people who are involved in gangs, very ruthless gangs that have no conscience whatsoever. So
let me tell you something about Allie.
Something.
As long as I don't know how to word this. There's a lot of things she might say or do, like, why don't you just, like, we're going through this issue right now and somebody was at our house, well, why don't you just call the police? That's your normal thinking assumption. When you're dealing with trauma survivors, when you're dealing with people that have gone through trauma, those normal things don't work. We're so far past, or why don't you just call the police? So we try to be careful with people because I know there's a learning curve there, but the normal situations don't apply to normal thinking. We're not dealing with normal situations. We're not dealing with normal things that have been in your little world or in your realm. And I know because I lived in that world. I had to reacclimate and relearn things. Trauma, if you were to raise a trauma child, you would not treat them and raise them the same way as you've raised your normal children. And I don't mean normal, don't take that up sideways. I mean your regular children. It's two separate things. I had to reparent her different and be a different parent to her than I was to the other kids that I've raised in my life. If I had continued to try to parent her the way I parented the kids in my past, I parented my older kids, I parented them the way I was parented. I just parented the things that I was taught, do what I tell you because I said so, that kind of thinking, and that would have never worked for her. She would have never stayed. She would have been out and gone. I had to redo everything that I thought I knew. So keep that in mind when situations are coming up and you go to that automatic place of normal parenting or normal questioning. When you're dealing with trauma survivors at this level, it's a whole other world that you've got to like totally relearn. But you'll be better for it in the long run because I think that's how we should parent everybody and how we should treat everybody. It's just a kinder, different way. It's less of the do what I told you because I'm your parent and I said so, and it's more of a listening to hear kind of a thing. So there's that.
Next thing, HC, stay with me, Killary. There was a little girl that I posted in my story today, and I know you guys have heard about Frazzle. Can't say the D word because it'll probably get me, but you guys know what I'm talking about?
The Razzle Dazzle?
Razzle Dazzle, Frazzle.
That video?
The video of the little girl, the 10-year-old girl with Killary and Uma, her assistant, is torturing this child. They pull off her nipples and they pull off her face. And they're wearing her face and they're draining her blood for adrenochrome purposes. And they're doing a satanic ritual. Not only that, but they're trying to give this power back to Satan. People were like, oh, well, you posted a post that said that it was already debunked. No, it's not debunked. This is true. If you were to go look it up right now, that you'll see that all the investigators, all the FBI, everybody on this case has been traumatized. They've thrown up. They've been suicided already over what's on this computer. And especially over that situation. Because people said that they saw the video.
And it was too much.
Grown men, hard FBI status, couldn't deal with what was on that laptop and that video. If you go look closely at a lot of the celebs' sweaters, they all have this white sweater with an A for adrenochrome that's going down the sleeve, and they have that picture of that little girl that was, her face was pulled off.
Let me give you another example of that. If you watched Castaway with Tom Hanks, remember the little ball, Wilson? That's exactly the adrenochrome face.
That was giving
bloody,
it away.
The bloody face cut off. They wear that, and they used a lot of the symbolism. Anything that comes out that's truth, what are they going to say? What do you think they're going to say? Yes, we did this. Yes, it's real. No, they're going to debunk everything. They're going to try to spin it, twist it. You got to, again, look past what's in front of your face and look for the truth. You've got to start looking for the truth because nobody's going to give it to you.
Ellen's not the only one who had it on.
Yeah, a bunch of them during COVID
A bunch
were
of them
wearing
were
it.
wearing the sweater. Yeah, she was laying on the couch.
They were communicating with each other.
Yeah, she also has the keys. She also has keys that go to certain places. And she knows what I'm talking about. Someone has to do worse than that, though. That type of give back, basically satanic rituals are doing something so vile and evil.
They kind of have to one-up each other.
That you're dedicating it to Satan, yes. Like, you're giving back to Satan. When you drink the blood, you're basically giving back to Satan.
So Satan's given me fame and fortune, so now I've got to give this to Satan. You kind of have to one-up, and that's how witches operate.
That's where the keys to go to. I'm going to pin that comment. Peaches. That's where the keys go to, yeah. So, and that's another thing. People don't understand that because that's where those keys go, you can't just get down there. Somebody please find this picture. You guys know the keys that I'm talking about, and you guys know those videos that she was making when she was in her house.
She had a bowl
She
of
had
keys
an
on
ankle
her
bracelet
coffee
on.
table.
Why do you think she was covering it? She had an ankle bracelet on. It wasn't COVID. A lot of them had on ankle bracelets during the pandemic. Why?
6-foot COVID socially distancing monitor.
Everybody needs to ask that question of why did all of the celebs have on ankle monitors? You can find it. And she's sitting with her legs crossed, which was also a signal. She was playing with cards, which didn't make any sense, which was also a signal.
It's a tarot card.
And she was trying to signal people that she was in trouble.
She was doing tarot card poses. There's a lot. That's when I tell you to watch the symbolism, to learn the symbolism. They're telling you a whole story right in front of your face, and you're not seeing it. If you don't know.
If you saw Ellen's set, what is Ellen's set? It's the island. It's the absolute mimic of the island. Why?
Coincidence? There's no coincidences in this. There's just not.
No, you can't.
We like to explain things away. Oh, well, that's just a coincidence. It's not. In the whole time that I've had Allie, there have been a lot of things that look coincidental, but they're not. It just doesn't work like that. So you need to set that thinking aside.
Her show was under investigation, but I believe that they're letting her do a pre-virtual show and letting her go back into her set for a little bit, but they're not letting the exact team in. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but they get away with everything per usual because nobody says anything. So they have now become essential entertainment as of I think a few nights ago. So they are exempt from the curfew. They are exempt from any COVID compliant rules. They are exempt. They are totally nixed. They are essential entertainment.
Everybody asks, what can we do? We want to help. What do? We should stop funding Hollywood, for starters. COVID's helped a lot with that since the movie theaters have been closed down. But be careful with the clothes you buy. Be careful who you're advertising on your clothes. Be careful what you're spending your money on. What movie actors you're supporting. What musicians, what sports people you're supporting. Make sure that they're worthy of your support. Make sure they're worthy of your money.
Yeah. Hey, to Burke, I'll get back to you. To Burke, 46. I'll get back to you, but yeah, I'd do it. Let me get back to you. Just give me a second, okay? If you can send me a link to your podcast, that would be cool. But give me a second, please. Just bear with me. In my post, you've seen that she also mentioned hot sauce in her bag. It's not hot sauce, guys. Who else says this? I got hot sauce in my bag. Swag. It's not hot sauce. It's not hot sauce. People keep adrenochrome on them. It's not hot sauce.
The level of addiction to that is off the charts.
It's worse than a drug. It's worse than crack cocaine.
It's whatever
worse.
Whatever you believe is the worst, most addictive drug.
It's worse than shrooms.
It's like 1,000 times that.
Worse than angel dust. Like worse. It's way worse. It's way worse. It turns you. Go look up bath salts back in I think 2010, 2012. That wasn't bath salts. That was the product of chrome. That was not bath salts. That zombie superhuman eating people, not being able to calm down even if somebody shot at them. That was a cover up. That was a cover up. We just putting truth and shit out there, so we're just.
Where do you think the idea for your zombie movies originates? It's from that. That's
Walking Dead.
What do zombies do? What's the whole purpose of a zombie? What's the
whole purpose of a vampire? Twilight. Do you see how backwards Twilight is? Twilight is about a child somebody was feasting on her adrenochrome. She's a child. Edward is a 100-year-old man. She's in high school. He wants her blood.
But we have the movies. We buy the clothes for our kids. We buy the dolls for our kids. You see the problem?
I hate Twilight. When it came out, I was like, everybody is really in this theater acting like this over this movie. Ew. I was disgusted. You know, and my mom and my nieces and stuff, they were into Twilight because, you know, everybody was into that. It was just like, oh, it's deep, it's creepy, it's mysterious. And I'm like, hello? he's trying to kill her. The movie is a big storyline. That's a big problem. It was desensitizing it. Cannibalism. Everything.
They're normalizing everything. And we let them. Not only do we let them, we're paying for it. Mm-hmm. We're inviting that in our home, and then we wonder why we got sickness in our home and why there's stress and grief and all kind of stuff in our home. It's because we're bringing all this evil shit into our houses.
And then your children are watching that, and your children are getting so into this, and they're thinking, well, if an older man came along and he was a vampire, I'd totally date him. What? You totally date a wolf? What bestiality are you talking about? Do you know what that movie is about? Like, all of your stuff has something in it. Hunger Games. What are we going through right now? What district are you? What are we going through right now? What are they trying to do? Does anybody not see us falling into Hunger Games? People were making a show out of watching people fight for their lives, their family, and everybody that lives there. What are we going through right now? Hello? You don't get what those the white police officers symbolize? So much. Guys, cult rings. I posted those in my pictures. Somebody asked me big time, what do the cult rings mean? What do those big rings mean? They hold a lot of stuff. They hold a lot of sugar. They hold power, poison, blood, spirits. It depends on how high you are and what your rank is. They hold a lot.
There's a lot of pictures. You can go, Oprah has them.
Tom Hanks has them.
A lot of them. All have the same ring. Which is odd, don't you think? Because doesn't everybody want to have a unique ring? Doesn't everybody want to be an individual? Doesn't everybody want to have something that nobody else has? Dressed different than everybody else, but they're all wearing the same ring.
Yep.
Look past what you see.
Everything has already been called. Why do you think all of these cartoons, all the stuff that was posted in my story, majority of that stuff was old, back in the 90s, back before I was even born. So why? Why? What is sleep paralysis really? Demons. So what happens is in the church during the week, people do satanic ritual meetings. They do them in the churches, schools, Planned Parenthoods, hospitals, you name it. Okay, but especially in the church, what happens is now people are doing all these bloody, gory, crazy, twisted, sick meetings. I need to charge you on this phone. during the week. Here it is, right here. And on Sunday, hold on one second. Here again. On Sunday, then you go to church, and you're wondering why there is demons flying through. There is paranormal things going on in your home. There is your children are acting crazy. Someone is acting out of character. The demons, the things that they conjure during the week, has all kind of hell flying through the church by the time you get there on Sunday. So demons hit people. Spells, conjuring, hit people that are innocent, and they latch on. And then you wake up at the witching hour at 3 o'clock in the morning and feel like somebody is sitting on top of you, or you can't breathe, or somebody's holding you down and you literally can't move your body, move your face. You feel like you're awake, but you're still sleeping, but you're not sleeping. Those are demons. Sleep paralysis is a politically correct, sugar-coated word for that. It's not.
We were in a hotel about 6 months ago, and I accidentally fell asleep with the TV on, and there was a demon come on me, sleep paralysis. Once you say the name of Jesus, those things will flee in a second. So as soon as I got it off of me, I looked, and on the TV was The Conjuring, and they put demons in those movies. So
if you remember when The Conjuring came out, they had a priest, a pope, and a pastor standing outside of every movie theater to give exorcisms as people came out. That was not a joke. That was not a joke. If people did not want to take the demons with them, they had the choice to go to one of those pastors and get saved before they left that theater. Basically, you invited them in by going to the movie. So now you're saying that you accept whatever they put you through.
it's kind of how that works.
You're basically
Giving your consent,
giving full permission. And then therefore, whatever happens to you happens.
They unleash on you, they unleash on you.
Plus more. The spirit realm is scary. It's nothing to play with. It's not a joke. We don't do magic. We don't do witchcraft. We don't play with that crap. We have had things happen to where my mother's had knives and all kind of crap fly at her, and none of us were touching them. Like, we have situations that will blow your mind and make you sit in the corner and feel like you want to cry. Like, we've seen some crazy stuff. We've seen some stuff that's telling you in this video, you would sit here and be like, I don't want to go to sleep. Like, I had a friend call me on the phone, and she's like, you know, I told you I have no political line. So my friend called me, and she's basically at this point atheist. And there was a demon on her dog and in her home, and she didn't understand what was going on. So she was just like, I don't pray, but she knows the Bible. So the first thing she did was say, okay, like, that's it. After her dog, the dog's head almost turned all the way around to her and there was nobody there, then she was praying, and guess what? It's gone. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying, I don't push my religion on anybody. You guys know that. Like, some people will pray the rosary for us. Thank you. Some people will send us positive vibes. Thank you. I don't push my religion. I don't plan for everybody to believe in God the way I do, because it took me a minute to believe in Jesus. I'm not saying that I don't. I believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus is my Savior. But it took me a while to get there. So I don't push that on anybody. And if somebody tells me about their religion, I respect that, because I was raised so many religions. It's not even funny. I was raised Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Christian, Baptist, like, all the way. All of it. So I respect it, but at the end of the day, what we believe in, you pray the blood of Jesus and it'll go away, because they can't argue.
And that's the only thing that works. And I know a lot of you have been giving me shit about about magic and witchcraft, and that it's not bad. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's very deceiving. But we don't mess with that.
We don't mess with it.
And we won't mess with that.
We had a lot of pimps who use sage. Some people think sage is okay. Some people think sage smudges everything and sage takes things out. You remember I told you to throw everything that you know away? Sage does not help. Sage is actually evil. Sage actually holds demons. and holds spirits, and it's actually used very much in satanic ritual abuse. I don't do sage. We don't do sage, and people are like, "Well, I'm helping. I'm getting the spirits out." You think, no, don't help me.
At this point in our life, you think if sage worked, I would be using that shit right now? There's only one thing that works for us, and that's consistently, and that's the name of Jesus Christ.
And it's not holy water.
And it's not holy water. There are no tangible things that have worked. There are no tangible things that do work. The name of Jesus is the most powerful thing, and it works consistently.
My pimps practice, I had female and male pimps who practiced Santeria, voodoo, black magic, white magic, witchcraft, hoodoo, and the list goes on. Incantations and all kind of conjuring of all kind of things. I've seen some shit. I don't play with that shit.
I've seen some shit. We don't do that. It's very deceptive. A lot of that new agey stuff, and be one with the earth and dance with the trees and all that crazy burn sage shit. We don't mess with that.
We don't do that.
It's just witchcraft, dark witchcraft, in a very pretty package.
And that's why we say, if that's your religion, do what you do, but keep it away from us. We don't push our religion on anybody. I have so many gay friends. Have you heard me say all of my pimps were not just male? Like, I don't have a line at all. at all. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It just is what it is, And if somebody was to call me and say, hey, what works for you? This. So, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do at that point. But what doesn't work for me is that. So, yeah. Someone said crystals are bad. Yes. Crystals, they're very bad. I had a pimp, female. She kept a witchcraft corner in her room. I believe this is also on Cuties. The newest movie, Cuties, the pedophile movie. There's a witch on that movie that goes after the main character. And crystals, sage, all that is used to conjure, to hold spirits, to hold demons. You think that your Hocus Pocus movie is fake? No. That book with the eye on it, that's very real. Very real. I don't play that. Don't play that at all. There's a lot, and people feel, especially people who don't know where they want to go yet. I understand that feeling of like, I don't know what to believe in, so I'm gonna put my faith into whatever that means and hope for the best for myself, and I respect that. But you just don't understand what actually that entails. When somebody is raping someone, they have crystals, they have sage, they have all kind of things in the room to make sure that the spirits and the demons and all kind of things that come from all that go to those things, and then they give those things out and use those as good luck, and to use as spirit holders, and to use as spirit markers. And you have no idea what you just brought from the store. You have no idea what you just picked up. You have no idea what's in that sage bundle that you're saging around your house. You think,
again, you're bringing stuff in your home, you're giving consent.
Everybody is very compliant, and you have no idea. Very compliant. You're actually part of the problem, and which is the reason why you want to flip it around and be part of the solution, because nobody understands that they're already part of the problem. You don't understand that the money that you're giving to the Clinton Foundation is going to hurt children. You don't understand that the money that you're giving to these fundraisers and these Red Cross things and everything else is used to make sure that they can build underground facilities to rape and torture children. You didn't know that your tax-paying money was going to Dennis chairs to torture children, did you? If you knew that, would you be okay with that? There's a lot. Meditation. I used to meditate. There's a way to meditate that's not opening your third eye and letting someone into another realm to move your veil. There's a way to do that. But then it also just depends. Like, I tell my kids, like, don't listen to certain things. Don't, like, if I'm gonna say something, don't listen to me right now, because you're putting that in your spirit. You know what I mean? It depends on what you put in your spirit from who. Because like I at one point I stretch or meditate, and that was, you know, to calm me down at night because my body is, I'm always in pain. So, but there was one night that I put on a YouTuber that was stretching, but she opened her third eye, and I fell asleep standing up in tree pose. Like, you know what I mean? But I wasn't asleep. I was literally just standing there for a good hour in this pose and in this trance, and it didn't hit me.
And that's a problem, a common problem with survivors. Survivors have been trained to do that a lot, so we have to be extra vigilant about what we do and how we do it, and what we bring into the house. Somebody was commenting on yoga. Yes, yoga. The poses for yoga are demon poses. There.
Yeah, some of them.
You know, a lot of your churches are trying to shine that shit up and bring it in the church.
You know that thing that sits there and he has the hand and then there's the eye and then the thing? Yeah. No. That's actually the things that are underground. Those are things that come alive. Remember when we talked about the other realms? Yeah, you did.
There's just a lot. But here's the thing. If we disagree with you, and if we're saying that that something is bad, and it's making you angry, you might need to question that.
You might need to question that because you're taking it too personal. It's resonating with you because why do you feel like you need to be defensive if it's not wrong?
If you tell me that Jesus isn't true or the Bible's fake, I'm not going to get angry with you because I believe that it is. But when somebody says something to you that angers you, it's because it's resonating on a different level. So anybody that's getting angry right now that we're talking about yoga and meditation and witchcraft and black magic, you need to question
We never said stop doing it. That's never one thing that came out of my mouth. Oh, stop doing that. We never said that. Never will. You asked.
These are our experiences.
These are our experiences.
This is why, and this is what we do about it. If it makes you angry, you probably should question that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Another thing. Let's talk about this. Somebody said chemical castration. That's gonna solve everything. No, it won't.
No,
that's gonna make them angry.
That's not.
That's gonna make people angry. Why? Because it's not a sex problem.
What the pedophile problem, the SRA, the MK Ultra, those are not sexual problems. Chopping off somebody's dick,
not a problem.
Castrating them, that will not solve the problem because it's about power, it's about control, it's about evil, and they will continue to rape children
with something.
They will use objects. Chemical castration is not going to solve.
Will just make them angry.
Anything.
It won't solve anything. It's not there all the time. It's up here too.
It's not a physical problem. It's a mental problem and an emotional problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes who have fetishes to the point of no, don't completely have sex with them, but to torture somebody, to use other objects to hurt them with. There's a lot of guys who have a fetish about that, and I told you they have a thing with I didn't touch anybody. Technically, my thing is I didn't touch anybody. People, there are pimps who will put, we talked about this before, but there's people who will put, like, every time I go to spit shit out, I go all G on y'all until I go to spit shit out, and then I'm like, ruh-roh. But there's, dildos that go on broomsticks. Long, thick wooden broomsticks. So there's dudes that, and females, masters and mistresses, that will rape somebody from a distance.
No DNA pass.
And just have a fluffer, an assistant, or just be masturbating at the same time. So there's that. IG, hang on 1 second for, like, we're gonna click off of here because this timer is going. but we're gonna continue. If you guys would like to continue, we just have we had a lot for you guys tonight, so we're just gonna talk about it. So this is going to end in 7 seconds.